My name's Josh, and I am a driver for Decker Truck Lines. I drive out of the Bessemer Southern Flatbed fleet, and I just want to take a few minutes to give my insights and my experience here at Decker. And I'm going to try and keep this kind of a little short and not take up nobody's time. But before I get started, I just want to say and throw out there that Decker has in no way encouraged me or enticed me or have no input on this video. This was 100% my idea, and everything that I'm going to talk about in it is 100% my insight, my experiences with Decker. With that being said, Decker's not my first company that I've drove for, but it's by far the best. Couple of things that I was going to talk about. I put a lot of research into Decker. I met it before I was driving for Melton, and I was at Western Extrusions in Carrollton, Texas, probably about a year and a half ago, and I saw a Decker driver and didn't know about Decker. I went up and got to talking to him, and I was leaning toward leaving Melton, and I called and got to talking. Talked to Mitch Dooley. Mitch Dooley's a real good guy, down to earth. He tells it to you straight like it is. I talked to Mitch for probably a year. Yeah, it was about a year from the time I quit Melton to the time I come on board with Decker. And the whole time that I talked to Mitch, I never caught Mitch in a lie. Mitch was straight up. I've talked to other recruiters, I talked to other companies before I made a decision to come to Decker, and I never caught Mitch in a lie to me. I caught other recruiters and stuff, and they'd tell me what I wanted to hear to get me on board and everything, and that wasn't the case with Mitch. And when we were talking, I've got a 10-year-old nephew. He's my buddy. He makes every step that I make when I'm at home, and whenever he's out of school, he's in this truck with me. At the time, he was wanting to go. Whenever I quit Milton, it kind of upset him because he was wanting to go with me, but at the time, he wasn't old enough. Their age requirement was 10. And given Decker's age requirement is 10. And at the time, whenever I made a decision to come on with Decker, he was only 9. He liked a little less than a month from being 10. Well, when I was talking to Mitch told me, he said, you got to do 90 days. After 90 days, everything does good, then you'll be approved to have a rider with you. And I told him, Mitch, I don't want to waste your time or anything. I said, but that's a deal breaker for me. I said, if I wait 90 days, this is May. By the time 90 days is up, summer's going to be pretty much over with. He's not going to be able to go with me. So got off the phone with him. Next day, Mitch calls me back and says, hey, I talked to my boss, we went back and looked at your record and everything. He said, you've got a good driving record, clean CSA. He says, so what we can do, he said, we can do 30 days. And I thought about it. I was like, he won't be 10 till June. I said, this is May. I said, so that 30 days will be up right after he turns 10. I said, yeah. I said, we can do that. Well, I wound up coming to Fort Dodge. Done my orientation there, and it's like the third, like on a Wednesday or something. We went over to the main building to eat lunch. There's a couple ladies there in town. Does lunch once a week for the guys, and Decker does so much for the community. There at Fort Dodge and the surrounding area that they come in. about once a week and cook a little small lunch. We went over there and eat lunch. Well, the lady that's over the permit departments and everything, I think it's the permits department. I'm not exactly sure what all she does, but to get approved to have a rider in the truck, well, you can get that permit and get it taken care of. Well, we got to talking, and she told me, she said, me and my boss, the director over safety, we went back and looked at your record, and you've got a good driving record and all that, and we're not gonna make you wait the 30 days. She said, I know your nephew don't turn 10 till June. She said, there's nothing I can do about that. That's insurance regulations. She said, but as far as we're concerned, she said, you can have a rider with you now, immediately upon completion of orientation and being seated in your own truck. And I sit there thinking, it's supposed to be 30 days, and she just removed that, so there's no stipulation to it. That's outstanding. So that was the first time that Decker over-delivered. Decker went above and beyond and done better than what they originally told me. And there's several different little small things that they've done, that I feel like that they've over-delivered on. I'm not a company driver anymore. I've recently, a few months ago, went on the lease with them. They have a really good lease program that I am very happy with. And a lot of guys I've talked to, and they've even come up and talked to me on the road, and their biggest thing is home time. What's home time like? Home time's awesome. I've never had a problem getting home. I've always gotten home when I wanted to be home. I've never been forced back out on the road. I'm not down in Milton or anything like that, so if there's any Milton driver sees this, don't think I'm putting Milton down. Milton was a real good company when I drove for them. They were so big in the wintertime. They had so many drivers. I think they had close to 1,500 trucks. Flatbed freight slows down. It gets kind of hard to get some mileage, get a decent paycheck. And then plus I was wanting more. They're strictly company drivers. They have no lease program. They have no, they don't have no owner operators or anything. I have recently went on the lease with them. It's a real good program. I'm more than satisfied with it. But to get back to the home time, everybody asks about the home time. Home time's awesome. I've never had no problem getting home. I communicate with my dispatcher, tell him when I want to be home. I've made every time that I'm supposed to be home, I've made it. They haven't come back and said, well, we were trying, but it just ain't gonna happen. We can't do this. We're gonna have to wait 3 or 4 days, or it's gonna be next weekend or whatever. And another thing that I like with them is whenever you go home under a load. So whenever you come out, if you go home over the weekend, you start the next week out automatically with a load. You're not starting the week out in the hole. And then another thing, like with Melton, they would give you, for every week that you were out, they would give you a day at home. So like with them, if you were out 3 weeks, or if you wanted 3 days at home, you had to be out at least 3 weeks to get them 3 days. Well, I've never had that issue with Decker. Every time I've went home, they've never tried to force me back out or anything. They've always, they've asked me when I wanted to come back out. When I was going to come home with a load, they'll call and schedule that delivery around your home time. Other companies try and force you back out, after 2 days, after 3 days, or whatever. You tell them how long you're going to be at home, and when you plan on coming back out, that's when they set that delivery date for. So home time with them's awesome. They over delivered a couple of times, you know, during the orientation process, and safety's a real big thing with them. I've never been pushed to drive under conditions that I didn't feel safe or didn't feel comfortable. Um, you know, in my opinion, Decker is one of the best companies out there. Um, you know, I have plans. I don't plan on driving from now on. I'm like everybody else. I've got plans, you know, for me and my family, financially and physically, and those plans that I have, that me and my family have, they're achievable right here at Decker. And I plan on spending the rest of my driving career right here with them, unless something happens and I tick the right person off about the wrong thing and they tell me to hit the road. I'm gonna stay right here with them. You know, I've never had a problem getting anything that I wanted, anything that I needed. Even being on the lease, I go through a terminal if I need conditioner, you know, the anti-gel for the fuel tanks, I get it. It don't cost me anything. If I need oil, windshield wiper fluid, anything like that, I get it. It don't cost me anything. You know, it's just, there's a lot of things like that. You know, some companies, I've got buddies that are on the lease from owner operators or other companies. You go to a terminal, get a gallon of oil, it's going to be on your check that week. It's going to be a deduction. That don't happen with Decker. I've never seen anything like that on my check. I've never had supplies that I needed for the truck deducted out of my check. You know, and I mean, I can sit here and go on and on and on about the benefits and the things that, you know, that cause me to like Decker. You know, has there been times that I've been a little aggravated or something like that? Well, naturally there has. I mean, there's going to be that. I mean, there's going to be with that anywhere. But, you know, it's nothing major. I mean, it's nothing that's going to make me jump up and throw the keys down at somebody and say, that's it, I'm out of here. So, I mean, if you're looking for another company to go to, you know, give Decker a call, give them a chance, call a recruiter and talk to them. Mitch Dooley, he was my recruiter, but naturally you don't have to talk to him. I mean, they've got a outstanding team of recruiters. I think Miss Jessie that does the videos and stuff, I think she recruits a little bit from time to time. And if you get a hold of her and she don't or whatever, she can put you in touch with somebody that can help you out. But I'm fairly confident that you know, whatever you're looking for in a career, driving or office personnel, if you live close to a terminal or something like that, you know, I'm going to assure you that Deckers, they're worth looking into. They're worth talking to. Like I said, I'm going to be here from you know, for the rest of my driving career, whether it be 10 years, 20 years, or I achieve my goals next year and decide to give it up. You know, I'm going to be right here. I know of other drivers that feel the same way, talk to them all the time. I have very rarely talked to a Decker driver that was unhappy. You know, and they, as far as training and stuff, they have a really good training program. You know, I went through my orientation and everything at Fort Dodge for Flatbed. They've got a guy there named Tanner. I can't think of Tanner's last name, but he's a real good guy. He really knows Flatbed. I mean, he's good. Miss Elaine, she helps with the orientation. I mean, she'll go out of her way to help you. She's helped me. I've seen her helping other drivers that wasn't even going through orientation. Whenever I made the transition from company driver to going on lease plan with them, I went and saw her to help get the TransFlow and everything changed over on my phone, and a few little things to do with the truck and Qualcomm and everything. I mean, she was on top of it. That wasn't her job. She didn't have to do it, but she did. I mean, they're outstanding people. You know, they've got a really good maintenance program. If something's wrong, they're gonna fix it. Something's wrong with your truck and it don't get fixed when you go through a terminal, it's because you didn't go tell them something was wrong with it. It's your fault. Yeah, but like I said, if you're looking for something different, you know, if you're looking for some experience, looking to come on board with a good company, you know, give them a call. If you've got other questions, just want to talk to a driver or whatever, I'm not going to put my phone number or anything on here, but I will give Miss Jessie or recruiters or whatever, I will give them permission to give you my number and let you call and talk to me. My name's Josh, truck number is L2611. I'll be more than glad to talk to you, answer any questions if I can, and if I don't know the answer to your question, I've got the phone numbers to the people that do. So if you're looking for a good company, give them a call, talk to them. But they're a really good company, and I believe it'd be worth the time to call and talk to them. Y'all stay safe. If I can help you any way, give me a call.